Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Houston Sharpshooters Draft Glory franchise mode here in NHL 22. So in last episode, we had the entire offseason, and this team is still coming together quite good, I think. I think we should have a little bit of a better season this year than last year. The reason being is because we do have some better overalls in the lineup in terms of our roster. I'll show you guys quickly who is in the lineup that is new this season. So Ferraro is going to be jumping into the lineup. He is a grinder, 77 overall. We drafted him in the 7th round quite a few years back, which is kind of interesting to see him actually make it to the NHL team. Very excited to see what he could do. He's very physical, so hopefully he doesn't take too much penalty minutes, but he should help us out in terms of our defensive play on that bottom 6. And then also Caden Sidor, who we drafted in round 2 of 2026, has also made it. He's also a grinder and a bit more defensively minded. So we do have 3 grinders in our bottom 6, which is a little bit risky in terms of taking penalties and stuff like that. But it should also give us a little bit more defensively minded players in that bottom 6. Like Forster's a perfect fit for that third line. So yeah, I'm very much hoping that this team could stay a little bit disciplined on that bottom 6. Also on the defensive end, we did bring in a SnipeNScore from the NHL or AHL. He's up to a 77 overall, and he was a 3rd rounder in 2026. Hoping that he could help make our defensive core a little bit better, because last year we had Turris in the lineup and he was like a 73. So technically he is the better overall defenseman, and he should help us out a little bit better defensively. The chemistry is not the greatest on the defensive core, so we could always change it up a bit, but I believe there was a minus, and I had to try and figure out a way to get rid of the minus, so that's what I'm going to be using. Also, goalie-wise, it's still going to be the exact same goalies as last year, and depth-wise, we have these guys scratched. And then this is quickly what our AHL team looks like. Not that it matters too much, but we do have a lot of guys still in the system that could come up at the NHL level at some point. Like Ortiz is getting close to being NHL ready. He does have top 6 potential, which is good, so hopefully he could get to the NHL at some point. Also, Jurgen Schutz, who is the low lead, he is getting close to being ready, and he's 22, which is good. So maybe next season he'll be up to like a 78 or a 79, which would definitely help us out on the blue line for sure. Also, definitely looking for Blacker to get more development, considering he's medium elite. Hopefully he could at least get to like a top 4 potential. And then goalie-wise, we have Park, who is almost ready to be our backup goalie, which would be good. And Benson's still down there too. So yeah, that's pretty much the NHL and AHL rosters. Quickly also, before we get into our only comment day we had, I will show you guys our contract situation, because that is a bit scary going into this upcoming offseason. And then I'll also show you guys what our new boys look like that we have in the roster this upcoming season. So firstly, this contract situation going into next offseason is kind of scary. We do have some big ones up for renewal, including Kapitanov, Burns, Forster, Yip, Pasquale, Roach, Tursenbayev, and then goalie-wise, we have Soderstrom and Janssen up as well. So we might run into a little bit of cap problems in terms of re-signing everybody with like $20 million left. So there is a chance that we might end up losing somebody like Pete Pasquale. And then also, we're basically going to be re-signing a lot of these guys to 1-year deals only. The reason being is because we need to wait till one of our 8-year deals is done, and Morales' 8-year deal is done at the end of next season, which means then we will have basically a lot more flexibility with how we give people contracts and stuff like that. So I don't want to lose Morales next offseason either, but that might be a thing that we have to do if we want to sign some of these other guys back. So just thought I would update you guys on that situation with the cap. And now quickly, let's take a quick look at what those new guys look like on our roster, and then we'll get into our only comment. And yeah, there's only a few new faces to the roster this season. Like I just mentioned, I showed you guys all of them. Ferraro, he is a grinder, low elite. He was a 7th round pick, which is interesting, so very glad that he made it. He has pretty much just a basic face, kind of looks like Steve Ruchin. I think that's the face I used for Steve Ruchin. Kind of a nice little hairstyle too. Nothing too crazy there. We've seen some crazy looking players though so far in this franchise mode, if I'm being honest. Sidor's another one, the other grinder, because we do have 3 grinders in our bottom 6 now, which is kind of crazy. This is what he looks like. He's a bald man, 22-year-old looking like this. Man, he must have some bad genetics or something like that. Like, that must be the case, because why does he not have a lot of hair? I don't know. And we also have a SnipeNScore on the defensive core to look at, and then that's it for player facials that you haven't seen, I'm pretty sure. So this is what Afanasenkov looks like, and wow, we could honestly call this guy like Goldilocks. Nice. Nice little hairstyle. Blonde beard too. Does it grow longer? I'm curious on that. It goes to this length at the longest, damn. Almost looks like he'd be like Thor or something like that in a movie. Okay, so those are the players that are new this upcoming season, and now before we get into simulating the season, we do have our one and only comment from HawksFan88. He says, I would keep Tanev as your coach for now, but I would replace him with Torres if the team is struggling. So basically the reason why we would be replacing Tanev is because his coaching overall has dropped off. Now he does still have a really good team fit, like 69% I believe it is. Yeah, 69%, but he is a C overall, so if the team is not doing too well, we could always pick up a new head coach because there is Torres who is available. I don't know if he'll be available all season. Hopefully he is. But yeah, this guy is much better. He's more of a defenseman coach, but he does have a really good team fit. And he wants a lot of money, obviously, but he would probably be the best option to find for a new head coach if we really need a new head coach. But hopefully Tanev could get the job done because Tanev got us to the playoffs last season. So anyways, that was the only comment we got in the last episode. So let's get into the season simulation and see if we can make it back to the playoffs again. Last year we had 40 wins and we had a little bit of a worse roster, so I should expect at least 40 wins from this team this year, maybe a little bit more. But we'll see if we can make it back to that playoff spot again, because we are not running out of time, but we do want to make it as much times as we can. And hopefully we could still draft well in the upcoming offseason and all that stuff to keep us competitive for multiple years. But let's go to the end of the preseason, and then we'll just simulate the entire season at a full, or at its, I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but whatever. But yeah, hopefully Tanev could get it done, because I believe, yeah, Tanev won the Jack Adams. Was it last season or was it a few seasons ago? I remember him winning a Jack Adams. We went 7-0 in the preseason, which might not be a good sign, because usually when you have a good preseason, I don't find the season is as good. But like if we aren't as good of a team, like I said, we will find a new head coach to replace Tanev with, but hopefully Tanev can get the job done. So let's go to December the 1st, just so we can take it a little bit slow, so we can see how good Tanev is doing first. And we start off the season with back-to-back losses that were really bad. Not a great start, 0-3. Yikes. Yeah, we're off to a really bad start for our roster. We might actually have to already look for a new head coach. Okay, yeah, we might need to, yeah, we're going to need to find a new head coach, I think, already. 1-9-1 in our first 11 games of the year. I don't know if I'm kind of like stretching it a little bit. Let me go just one more week and see if we lose more games, because this team really needs to be playing better than this. There's a win, there's another win. There's a loss and a loss. Yeah, I don't really like how we started the season. I mean, we're scoring a lot of goals, so it might be our goaltending. I got to take a look at what our problem is with our team right now. Is the goals against right now that's like keeping us down, or what? In our division, we're only scoring 2.6 goals per game. Never mind, so our depth scoring might not be that good. We're allowing way too much goals. Okay, I might have to send down Janssen and call up Park already. I think I'm already going to make some roster changes, because this team should be making it back to the playoffs and not being this bad defensively. I don't know if it's because of the grinders or what. Oh, Soderstrom has been terrible. What is this, Soderstrom? You're an 83. Maybe it's the defensive core. Yeah, it might be the defensive core chemistry. Let's try and flip this around so we can get it fixed maybe a bit. Okay, that works, I guess. Yeah, that works somewhat. Let's do it like that. Why not? But the goaltending needs to definitely improve. What line has been really terrible? The fourth line. Pretty much all lines have been terrible. This is not good. Let's move Morales up, move Kapichanov down, kind of separate some of these guys a bit to try and get all these lines some energy. I don't know if it's because we have too much grinders. How much penalty minutes are these guys taking? 6 penalty minutes in 15 games is really nothing. 10 penalty minutes in 15 games, not really that bad. And only 2 penalty minutes for a grinder. Interesting. I might send down Janssen, because he's been not that good so far. He's been probably our better of our two goalies, but I don't know if Park is really ready yet to be an NHL goalie, and I don't want to rush him into the lineup, so I think we're just going to keep that as is, but I think we are going to have to find a new coach. I'm going to do another week, and if we continue to simulate bad after those line changes, we're going to find a new coach mid-season, which is something I don't really do that often. So let's go to the 24th, see if we could get some more wins and get ourselves back to closer to 500, which we're not doing still. There's back-to-back wins, though, but we're 5-12-2, so we're kind of improving, but I don't really know if this team is going to make it back to the playoffs if we continue to simulate. Let's just go to the start of January, or December, and we're still losing games, winning a couple more. Okay, we're getting close to back to 500, but still 7-14-2 is not good enough. So we are going to find a new head coach, which means I think we are going to go into our coaching staff. And I think we're going to have to fire Chris Tanev. Yeah, I think his stats are just dropping off way too much. Is this guy even a good scheme fit, this assistant coach? I don't really know. I don't think so. Let's just, for now, demote Tanev down to AHL assistant coach, just so I can kind of see how this other guy fits with our team. Let's see, 47% AU. Let's make him an NHL associate, and we need to promote one of these guys as an interim head coach for now. So yeah, let's just put Boyclair as an interim head coach. Actually, I'll put Tanev back as the interim head coach. There you go. So then we'll find ourselves a new head coach. And let's see. So people are saying Torres, but he wants a lot of money is the only problem. I don't know if... yeah, I don't think we really have the budget to get him. Which means we need to find somebody that's budget friendly, that's pretty much the same type of like good scheme fit type of thing. Like Harold might be good, 54%. 65, that's not bad for Vincation. 65 again for Claude Giroux. Claude Giroux works good with forwards. It doesn't really work with a lot of our defensemen at all. Who else do we got that has a good scheme fit? 63. 69 for Mario Houle. I think we got to go with Mario Houle as our head coach. He's even better overall wise than... yeah, I think he's going to work better with our team, to be honest. I mean, he doesn't have good offense and defense, but his penalty kill, power play, all that stuff seems to be good. And he has a good scheme fit. So I think we got to go with Houle as our NHL head coach. And we'll give him a little bit more. And then we're going to have to fire one of our coaches, though, to free up some budget. Which means let's just get rid of... let's get rid of our AHL associate coach. Do I have to... actually, I might have to get rid of... yeah, let's just fire Mestre. Get rid of him. And that will give us... yeah, that gives us, I think, the budget that we need. Do I even need an associate coach or no? Yes, I do. So yeah, we'll just fire both those associate coaches for now and promote this guy as our NHL associate coach for now while we wait for our new head coach. Because I would like to keep Tanev around maybe on the staff, but I don't want him as our head coach. So let's advance a few days just via the calendar like this, just so we could get our new coach in. He should accept. Damn, he's declining because of our market size. So let's give him a little bit more money. So we'll go coaching staff. Yeah, because we definitely can't afford that guy that Hawks fan was mentioning, unfortunately. So Houle, where are you again? You're all the way down here, right? Yeah. NHL head coach. We'll give you a little bit more money since we do have now the budget to work with. But yeah, hopefully this team could get back into the playoffs again because we're off to a really bad start. And I'm kind of scared that this team is going to end up missing the playoffs. Yeah, we're still losing a lot of games this year. I honestly don't think we're going to make the playoffs. There you go. He's been accepted, which means we're going to go back to our coaching staff quickly. And then, yeah, Tanev will be our NHL assistant coach. Yeah, that's perfect. We might need to rework our lines now that we have a new coach, though. So let's go to edit lines quickly and just readjust this. This might be a little bit of a longer episode than normal. So it seems like everything works fine right now. Yeah, I think that's fine in terms of lineup. Defensively, definitely fix our defensive core a little bit. So we'll throw that up. No, that doesn't work together. Yeah, we'll work it like this, I think. And then goalie-wise, we'll keep that the same. Depth-wise is going to stay the same. And special teams are still looking good. Okay, perfect. This new coach definitely works well with our team. And let's continue to simulate and see if that new head coach could get us back into the playoffs. Because we're 7-16-2. We'll see how good we are with this new head coach in our team. But we'll just simulate the rest of the season regardless now since we have a new head coach. But hopefully we can make it back to the postseason again. Because if we don't, this has been a colossal failure of a year. And we're still losing more games. Why is this team so bad? I think I'm going to have to call up somebody from the AHL to replace. I don't know who it is that's making us this bad this season. Is it the addition of the grinders? Probably. Because that fourth line has been really terrible. And do we have guys we could call up? Not really. I'm going to scratch Ferraro and put in one of our depth options, which means I'm going to put in Zubov for now. See if that helps out the defensive portion, because one of those guys have to be taken out, I think. And then how about defensively? Yip has been terrible. Let's move him up. Let's try and rework this again. Okay, that seems to be working a little bit better. Yeah, that seems to work a little bit better. So definitely try that. The goaltending has probably still been terrible, right? Yeah, holy shit. This is such an off year. Like, how do you go from doing this to this? Like, Soderstrom has been really bad. Like, I don't understand that. Like, at least he's not going to demand a lot of money this offseason because of how bad he's played, but this is a really bad season for this team. Like, I mean, at least we're still scoring goals, it seems like, but the defense has been terrible, and the goaltending has been terrible. If this team somehow manages to come back and make the playoffs, I'll laugh my ass off, but literally this has been one of the worst starts I've had to a season, I think, in a franchise mode before. Other than our first few years, obviously, in this Houston series where we were a really bad team. But we've won 2 in a row, and then we lose a couple more games. Yeah, this team's not going to make the playoffs this year. We've already almost lost 30 times. Which is kind of ridiculous. There's 3 wins in a row, 4 wins. Okay, we're starting to make our way back, maybe. We've won, like, multiple games this month. For the first time in a long time, probably. But yeah, this team is turning a book with the new coach now all of a sudden. We are getting closer to back to 500, but we are still quite far out of it. So the start of the season might make us miss the playoffs. Because we are winning a lot of games as of late. We're almost back to 500. If we somehow make it back to the playoffs, this team might win the Stanley Cup this year because of the fact that we're almost back to 500. Now we're losing the games again. Come on, boys. We want to make the playoffs. Let's just... we're not even doing anything. We're just going to continue to simulate. Let me stop the sim for a second, though. Just because I want to see how we are in terms of the standings. No, I'm not claiming anybody on waivers. We're 27-30-6. 60 points. The last playoff spot in the Western Conference has 66. Okay, so we're not too far back, actually, of a playoff spot all of a sudden. So we can still make it if we don't lose a lot of games back to back to back. So maybe the new coach is going to help us get back in the playoffs, but it's a very slim chance that we're still going to make it. But let's continue to simulate and see if we can continue to win some games like we've been doing as of late. Man, this team is so good all of a sudden. What is this? We're above 500 now, 32-31-6. This might be a miracle on ice type of story. 70 points. We are only 2 points back of a wildcard spot. Only 2 points back of a wildcard spot, but obviously the Blues are right with us. There's a lot of teams right with us, but if we make ourselves get back to the playoffs after that terrible of a start of a season, that would be an insane season. Even if we were to lose in the first round of the playoffs, but we are winning games as of late. We need to keep on winning. There's a loss, a win, a loss. Come on, guys. We don't need multiple losses. 36, 33, and 6. This team is really all of a sudden doing good, and we are in a wild card spot after that terrible of a start to the season. Wow. If somebody can keep track of how much wins we put on since that coaching change, actually we could probably take a look once we look at our coach's stats, but damn, if we make it back to the playoffs after that, this is going to be an interesting thing to see if our team could do good in the postseason if we get there. We only have a few more games left, so we're going to take it one at a time just because we are getting close to being back into the playoffs. We win 4-0 over Boston. Game against Seattle. We win 6-4. We are still in a wild card spot with 5 games to go. Will we make it back to the playoffs? Nobody knows. And we win against Philadelphia. My God. This team is like a complete reverse of what they were at the start of the year. We can't stop winning right now. 84 points. The last team that's not in a playoff spot has 83. So we got to watch out for San Jose mainly, and that's it. So San Jose is right on our ass. Let's see if we can get another win here. Every win counts in this last little bit. We win that game too against Pittsburgh. Jeez, and we're not even in a wildcard spot anymore. We're third in our division over the Blackhawks. And we're 3 points up on the Sharks now. We actually might make it back to the playoffs after that terrible of a start. This new head coach has done amazing so far. Like, I would give this guy a Jack Adams easily right now. We win against Columbus, and I think we just clinched a playoff spot. Yes, we did. We have clinched the playoff spot after probably one of the worst starts we've had in recent memory. And we've already had a better season than last year, too. Honestly, this new head coach has been... like, maybe that's just what we needed. It was a new head coach. Damn. I honestly didn't expect us to get back to the playoffs, but we go on an absolute tear down the stretch, and we managed to make the playoffs going 43, 33, and 6. So the new coach was just what the doctor ordered because this team started off so terribly. We hired a new coach right about, I think it was probably right around here. I think. I don't remember when I hired the new head coach, but for example, this month we only had 3 losses. Or 2 of them are regulation losses. Let's discount regulation. Actually, we could look at the coach's stats, I think, and we should be able to take a look at his record. But to go back into being second in the division is absolutely insane. So let's take a look at our coach's stats, because I'm kind of curious on how good he did for us. Because this is exactly what we needed, probably. So, since hiring him, he went 36, 17, and 4. He was amazing, and he was really good in AHL levels apparently before that. So, yeah, we might have found our perfect coach. I hope he could do good in the playoffs, but I don't know that for sure. But this team has all of a sudden made it back to the playoffs, and he's got 70% scheme fit now too, so that's actually really great. Let's go. This team actually might be able to win a Stanley Cup. Who knows? Maybe because of the last half of the season, maybe we're going to win a cup. Maybe we're just going to be a first-round exit. But to make it back to the playoffs again after that terrible of a start is pretty historic. So, anyways, let's take a look at our player stats and team stats for the season. And then we'll definitely take a look at who we're going up against in the first round. But team stat-wise, let's go to the entire league. We finished where in the entire league in terms of the standings? We finished 12th best, and we were probably near the bottom when we started recording this episode and had that Chris Tanev as our head coach. I guess Tanev as an associate coach works too. Offensively, we were not that great, it looks like. Oh no, we were okay. We're like mid-table, 3.12. I'll take it. We allowed more than we scored still, which is kind of interesting. It's probably because of that start to the season, no. But we still weren't the worst defensive team. We're kind of around mid-table as well. Power play percentage-wise, we were one of the best power play teams in the league still, 19.8%. And our penalty kill was the 3rd best in the league, or tied for the 3rd best with Arizona at 87.3%. We had 7 shorthanded goals this year, which is up there. Home record-wise, what was our home record? Because I'm kind of curious on that front. Looks like we didn't have a good home season. Wow, were we that bad? I don't know my stats. 17, 20, and 4. But we were really good on the road, and we're 10-0 in our last 10 games. Yeah, we're probably going to get swept in round 1, but hey, at least we made it back to the playoffs. Let's take a look at these player stats now. So Chad Burns really had a good year. Obviously, his contract comes to an end this year, so we're probably going to have to give him a one-year deal to keep our cap in a good standing spot, unless we want to buy someone out. But 71 points in 82 games. Really good season from this guy. That maybe what helped us out is him growing a little bit. Plus 29 as well for him. Jääskeläinen, 69 points. So Jääskeläinen's points really fell off this year. I don't know if it's because of the start to the season or what, but his point production is also dropping. Pasquale, 25 points. Dursunbayev, 23. Zubov, 18. And since scratching Ferraro, our team definitely turned it on. So maybe we just needed Zubov in the lineup instead of Ferraro, which kind of sucks because obviously Ferraro being a low elite, I would rather play him. But obviously Zubov seems to be a better offensive option on that bottom six. Sidu, 67 points is not that great. He's still not really that much of an offensive player. Like, he puts up good numbers, but he's more of a playoff player than a regular season one, I think. Gene Thornton, 63. Morales, 52. Forster, 28. And Sidor, 11. Not too bad. Kapitanov, 68. His contract also ends this year, so he's going to want more money. And Korostin, 22 points. Defensively, Teratukin, wow. Teratukin broke out this year. 73 points. That is exactly what we needed from our defensive core. Love to see that. And he's still signed for 4 more seasons, which is good. Hedman, 36 points, but a minus 27. Yip, 26 points. Sedin, 21 points. Afenisenkov, 14. And Roach, 11. So our defensive core actually helped out a lot on the offensive front. And Soderstrom really picked it up near the end of that season, because he started off with like over a 4 goals against, but a lot better of a season than I was expecting from him. He played 70 games this year, and Janssen was not that good. Interesting. Let's take a quick look at the AHL as well, just because I'm kind of curious on any of these guys. So it looks like Ortiz is going to get close to the NHL level. It's good. How about those elite defenders? Schutz, is he growing? He's up to a 76. I like that. He might be in our defensive core next season. And Blacker up to a 72. Perfect. Exactly what I need. And Park is ready to be our NHL backup goalie. That's also good, because then Benson could be a starter in the AHL or a backup in the AHL, which is a good thing. Let me also take a quick look at the entire NHL for points and stuff like that. And then we'll take a look at who we are facing in round 1. So starting off with 4 points, the best forward this year was Scarabelli with 111. Him, McDavid, and Kachuk. All are going to win the Art Ross for most points, or what? Because all 3 of them had 111 points. 2 of them are on the same team, which is kind of funny. Draisaitl was also up there with 108, Wright, and Barzal. Most goals this season was Scarabelli with 66, which is kind of nuts for a 19-year-old. And then on defensively, Bokus had 86 points. Makar was up there. Teratukin, if he would have had a better plus-minus, could have won a Norris this season, I think. That team in Calgary seems like it's a very scary team based on their point totals. Goalie-wise, the best goalie this year was Rantanen in the Islanders. Interesting. Most shutouts, Spencer Knight. Best save percentage by a starter, Spencer Knight. And best goals against average by a starter, Spencer Knight. Best rookie this season was Brennan Del Zotto in Carolina. So that is that, and now we got to see who we're facing in the first round of the playoffs, since we actually made it back to the postseason, which was not what I expected at that beginning, but at least we made it. Now it just comes down to if we could actually win, and we're going to be facing Colorado, who won 40-33. They have the exact same record as us in the regular season. Interesting. So that might give us a chance to win our first playoff series, but I'm not 100% sure with that. But we're 10-0 in our last 10 games. They're 4-4-2. So they might end up being the cheese team to knock us out because of the fact we had a really good second half of the season. Interesting. Let's take a look at what their roster looks like compared to ours. And then I'll also take a look at how they did during the regular season in terms of goals for and all that. And then we'll end this episode here, I think. So first line has Kasperi Kapanen, Nathan McKinnon, and Mikko Rantanen, who are still there. Pretty good first line. Second line-wise, Dom Kubalik, Mika Zibanejad, and Kirby Dach. Third line, Dylan Dubé, Caden Betts, and Vic Harima. I almost said Farima for some reason. But that's a pretty solid top 9. I'm a little bit weak with Betts and Harima, but still pretty good. And then fourth line has Joel Kiviranta, Carl Henriksen, and Daniil Gushin or Gushin, I don't know how it's pronounced, but that's a pretty good forward core, I would say. Defensively, they have Valimaki and McAvoy, very good defensive core for the top 4 at least, and Nils Lundqvist and Sam Girard. So I really like that defensive core. It's kind of weird not seeing Cale Makar there because he's in Calgary now, but I'll definitely take that. Top 6 wise, they have Alex Trainer, who's a 72, and Lawrence Nolan, who's a 72. So I guess they must be right up against the cap or something. And in goalie wise, they have Carter Hart. That's going to be tough to beat. That is going to be tough to beat for sure. Wow. Yeah, this Colorado team is actually not that bad. I'm surprised they didn't do better with Carter Hart in net. But that's definitely going to be tough to score on. And they also have Jukka Luutinen as their backup. Depth-wise, they have Mitch Stevens. They also have Tuomas Barkov. Interesting. And they also have Darcy Benson. So, overall-wise, I think this team is good. They're definitely better than us, but it should be still probably pretty close to even for some parts of this. Like, defensively, they're better than us, I think, in their top 4. Obviously, they also have better players like McKinnon and Rantanen, but our team is still probably going to match up good against them. Except for the goaltending front, I guess it depends if Soderstrom could outduel Carter Hart, which might be pretty difficult. So that's that. And let's quickly just take a look at how they did during the regular season in terms of goals for and all that stuff. And then that'll be it for this episode, just because I'm kind of curious on how much goals they scored and all that. So we're in the same division. We had the exact same amount of points. They scored a tiny bit more goals than us in the regular season, and they allowed way less goals against, obviously because Carter Hart. We had a better power play percentage, and we had just barely a better penalty kill by 0.1%. So that's interesting. They also had the same amount of shorthanded goals. They had a better home record, and we had a better road record. I don't really know who's going to win this series, to be honest. It's probably going to be an interesting one, though, regardless. But since we had a really good second half of the season, I feel like we're going to be a first-round exit. But maybe also this team could win in the playoffs, too. So you never really know who is going to win this series for sure. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Houston Sharpshooters Draft to Glory. So in next episode, we'll take it to round 1 against the Colorado Avalanche as we look to continue our hot second half of the season. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.